The Duke and Duchess of Cambridge released a couple black and white photographs from the Earthshot Prize backstage. And most people miss 3 extremely subtle body language clues that reveal details about their relationship. Welcome back, my body language buddies. My name is Jesus Enrique Rosas. I'm the body language guy, and it would be great if you join us by just liking this video, subscribing, and hitting that bell. Let's get down to it. Sometimes you look at the picture of a couple and you can feel something that you cannot define. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad, and sometimes it's just great. I selected these 3 pictures because each one of them have something special, and you are going to see that both body language and symbols can convey a powerful message. I'm going to start with the simplest one. Not for being simple means that it's boring. I call it simple because there's just the 2 of them, Kate and William, and there's very few elements that distract. I forgot to mention that there is a reason why these photographs are in black and white, and it must be to separate them visually from the official photos of the event. Also, the black and white contrast, the absence of color, lets you focus on the people and their expressions. That's why black and white photos can carry so much emotional energy. This picture presents them as a couple in a dynamic way. We know that William's jacket was green, but at this moment our mind is just absorbing that color as black, with a high contrast against Kate's white. Now there's a really famous symbol of balance that is the yin and yang, that beautiful flow between the masculine and the feminine, and it's represented by the colors black and white, in which white carries the seed of the black and vice versa. That intersection between those 2 forces are represented by their holding hands. And yes, you can spot that firmness of both hands wrapped around each other and William's thumb over Kate's hand. That is the classic hand holding in which that male thumb represents protection. There's also the fact that William is a bit ahead of Kate, leading her. And that slight difference always makes for a more comfortable hand holding, because by definition, the man's arm is going to be in front of hers. So it makes sense that the man needs to be a half step or a full step ahead of the woman. And a comfortable hand holding also looks natural. But at the same time, the seriousness of William's black is balanced with his a bit silly expression. He's smiling, just like Kate, but he's also raising his inner eyebrows, so he must be reacting to something at that moment. Their facial expressions show that they are engaging with what's going around them. But the real skill when reading body language is not just spotting gestures, but how those gestures craft a story inside our minds. And this is how you do it. Looking at the second photograph, we spot another simple background. There's not much that can distract us from the main characters, and in this case they're engaged in the action of entering the scene. And that's the charm of this kind of photos, because especially with this one, you begin to feel like you're witnessing an ad-libbed moment or a candid moment. And it's refreshing to be able to look at them like this, because royal protocol has all these rules for their body language and attitude, but this is a glimpse into much more relaxed moments. What makes this photo interesting is that they both are engaging in the same activity, so to speak, that is opening the curtains. So they are sharing, with quite some symmetry in the picture, they are sharing an action. Sometimes you look at a couple's picture and you see totally different attitudes, or maybe not even sharing the same willingness to be there, and that's something that your intuition picks up immediately. In this case, not only are they engaging in the same activity, but there's a connection between them, as William is leaning towards Kate and looking directly at her. When you zoom in, you can actually see that they both had a very cute expression, and William, as we've seen in other opportunities, I think is looking not only into her eyes but also her mouth and maybe her neck. That's what his head orientation suggests. Remember that this is a signal of attraction. When someone finds you attractive, their eyes are going to go from your eyes to your mouth and even your neck. There's another reason why this picture gives a very nice feeling. If you try to peek into the space they are coming out from, there are no other persons in there, or at least we cannot see them. And our minds are very good at crafting stories from an image, so your imagination can easily run wild and picture that they are coming out after being alone with no one around, and it's say that some friends saw them snogging and your mind can do the rest. But that's part of the fun, because that's the feeling you get when you stumble upon images like this one. And by the way, you can refine your observation skills with my 100 tips that you can download right in the description of this video. I must say, my favorite photo of this series is this one. And you might think, well, it's not that dramatic, it's not that easy to spot their facial expressions. In fact, we can't really spot William's face, but we can at least confirm that he's smiling. What is so fascinating about this picture is that it sums up everything that we've seen in the others. Their mutual body language, the symbols around them, and the story in which we frame their interaction. And I want to start with that implicit story. Take a good look at the picture and try to describe the attitude of all the people that is present. You can see that most of the audience are not paying attention to Kate and William. They're looking at something happening in the middle of the hall. Yes, there are a couple of women looking in their direction, but in general, the people in the background are looking elsewhere. So there's a difference between that background and them. And that makes you feel that you're actually behind Kate and William, sharing that intimate moment away from the public. And that is reinforced by Kate's gesture of her hand in William's back. The people in the photograph cannot see her hand, but we can. That's something that pulls us inside that moment in a very privileged position. We're sharing that closeness between them, the way that you can feel Kate's hand in William's back, and even if he is still in that formal posture with hands up front, he leans with his head and looks directly into her eyes. It's an amazing photograph just for having all those elements at the same time. But there's one more reason you can feel balance in this picture, and I already had mentioned that the black and white that we perceive can be loosely related to the yin and yang. What happens in this image is that there's a double curve that crosses the whole picture, a combination between the arched ceiling and Kate's arm, and that mimics the exact same curve that crosses the yin and yang. This is the kind of details that your conscious mind is not going to pick up until you, well, try to relax and truly observe what is in front of you. This is a way that you can truly enjoy not only body language, but also photography and art. You look at something beautiful, like this picture, you know that it's beautiful, but it's great when you understand why a picture can give you that feeling. Our problem is that we are constantly attacked by all sorts of stimuli, left and right, images, videos, TikToks, everything, and our mind goes numb. But it's exactly the same when you take your time to taste the flavor of something delicious. You need to calm your mind and your senses for a while in order to absorb all the qualities of whatever you're tasting. And if it's an image, let yourself be in that moment. Let your imagination take you there. Because beautiful things are worthy of being enjoyed. If you want to support my channel and help me make more videos, all you have to do is like, subscribe, and hit that bell so you don't miss any of my body language analysis and tips. My name is Jesus Enrique Rosas, and we'll meet again soon, my body language buddies.